Dawn Fletcher has started to doubt her revenge scheme against Joe Tate in Emmerdale, but reversing course may no longer be possible. Joe is finally facing consequences after Moira Dingle uncovered that he had blackmailed Robert Sugden into hiding passports belonging to trafficked workers connected to Celia Daniels and Ray Walters inside Butler's farm. As a result, Moira was wrongly accused and imprisoned for months over human trafficking and double murder allegations. Joe had threatened Robert by saying he would hand over footage of Victoria Sugden killing her half-brother John if he refused to cooperate. Overwhelmed with guilt, Robert eventually confessed everything. Moira was furious but chose not to involve the police, warning him instead that Kane was the person he should truly fear. Determined to make Joe suffer, Moira confronted him at home farm with a shotgun. Dawn stepped in and revealed her pregnancy, demanding answers about whether he had really committed the crimes. Joe denied any wrongdoing, though Dawn quickly realized he was being dishonest. Later, Dawn met Moira and Kane on a quiet country road, where they discussed a fresh plan to destroy Joe. Moira encouraged Dawn to continue pretending everything was perfect, marry him as planned, and eventually strip him of his fortune. Dawn agreed to pass the money over to the Dingles, knowing it would deeply anger Joe. However, during today's episode, Dawn began struggling with guilt as Joe treated her with kindness. While she dealt with morning sickness, he surprised her with a thoughtful care package in hopes of cheering her up. Joe also invited Dawn's former husband Billy over for dinner, hoping to strengthen their blended family dynamic. Feeling conflicted, Dawn later went to Wishingwell Cottage and admitted to Moira that she was having second thoughts about the plan. Moira suggested she leave the village before Joe uncovered the truth, but Dawn insisted that Joe should be the one forced out, not her. Refusing to back down, Dawn declared that she intended to take every last penny from Joe. What she didn't know was that Joe and Graham Foster had already figured out what was happening and were secretly planning their own revenge. The question now is how far Joe will go to strike back. Emmerdale's Dr. Caitlin Todd came out on top once again tonight as her blackmail scheme against Charity Dingle intensified. Viewers are aware that Caitlin has been extorting Charity ever since discovering the truth surrounding baby Layla's real parentage. At first, Caitlin agreed to leave the village in exchange for £5,000. However, after learning that Charity owned half of the Woolpack, she dramatically increased her demand to £100,000. The huge amount forced Charity into searching for someone willing to buy her share of the pub, while Caitlin gave her only a week to raise the cash. In tonight's episode, Vanessa returned home to discover Caitlin surrounded by expensive new purchases. Caitlin casually claimed that one of her investments had paid off and hinted that even more money would soon arrive. Later, Vanessa, Charity and Manpreet headed to the Woolpack for drinks while Charity worked behind the bar. When Mac and Ross showed up, Manpreet mentioned to Caitlin that she and Ross had once shared a brief romance. Caitlin quickly suggested inviting the pair to join them for a game of darts. During the evening, Caitlin pulled Ross aside and questioned whether it felt uncomfortable seeing Charity and Mac together because of his past with Charity. Ross clarified that he and Charity had never actually been in a relationship, despite sharing their son Moses. As Charity passed by, she overheard Caitlin continuing to stir trouble by asking Ross if he had ever considered taking things further with her. Later, Caitlin managed to get Mac on his own, where he admitted that he originally disliked Ross before eventually becoming friends with him. Caitlin eagerly pushed for more details. Towards the end of the episode, Caitlin cornered Charity in the pub toilets and smugly revealed that she had learned plenty about her tangled family relationships throughout the afternoon. Furious after being taunted, Charity grabbed Caitlin and admitted she wanted to lash out at her, though insisted she was not worth it. As Caitlin walked away, she coldly replied that she was worth every penny. The big question now is whether Charity can raise the money before Dr. Todd completely destroys her life. Emmerdale viewers believe they may have uncovered an important clue about the mysterious barn fires currently causing chaos in the village. While several suspects have emerged, many fans are now convinced the culprit could be someone unexpected. The ITV soap recently introduced a dramatic whodunit storyline after a hooded figure was seen setting fire to Emmerdale Farm. As Robert Sugden and Aaron Dingle desperately try to uncover the arsonist's identity, suspicion has already fallen on several villagers. Kane initially appeared to be the obvious suspect because of his explosive temper and strong motive after learning about Robert's role in Moira's imprisonment. However, some fans think the show is deliberately making him look too guilty. Ross Barton and Joe Tate have also been considered possible suspects, but viewers now suspect the truth could lie much closer to home. A growing number of fans believe Kyle Winchester may secretly be responsible. During Monday's episode, Kyle appeared visibly uneasy, while Aaron, Kane and Moira discussed the fires. As Moira questioned who could commit such acts, Kyle reportedly looked up nervously from his homework, sparking suspicion among viewers. Fans quickly reacted online, with many convinced the scene was an intentional clue. One viewer suggested Kyle could still be angry after Robert's actions disrupted his family life. Another predicted that the youngster could escalate things even further in future episodes. Several others agreed that Kyle's guilty expressions throughout the episode seemed highly suspicious. Not everyone is convinced, though. Some fans believe the soap may be intentionally pointing towards obvious suspects, like Kyle and Sam, in order to distract viewers from the real culprit, who could end up being someone completely unexpected. Elsewhere, Kammy continues to deny any involvement in the fires when questioned by Robert and Aaron, though suspicion remains around him. The accusations bring back painful memories for Kammy, leaving him filled with shame and frustration. According to Shebs Mia, who plays Kammy, the character struggles to show vulnerability because of the difficult experiences he has endured in life. He explained that Kammy prefers to hide his emotions rather than openly admit when he is hurting. The week also sees Belle Dingle trying to ask Kammy about his family while discussing Eid, though he becomes noticeably uncomfortable during the conversation. Belle soon worries she may have crossed a line after sensing his reluctance to open up. Meanwhile, Aaron encourages Robert to step away from the stress surrounding the farm fires, leading the pair to spend time together at the wool pack. However, neither of them realizes they are secretly being watched by a mysterious figure. Later in the week, Aaron notices how exhausted Kammy seems, while Robert grows increasingly obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the fires. Belle cannot stop thinking about Cammy's refusal to discuss his family, so she eventually decides to ask him directly if she can meet the people closest to him. However, Kammy immediately dismisses the suggestion, leaving Belle disappointed. According to Shebs Mia, there are many unanswered questions surrounding Cammy's past. He hinted that the character's guarded behavior is connected to a troubled upbringing, painful experiences, and broken relationships that he keeps hidden beneath the surface. Unsure what to think, Belle briefly considers looking through Cammy's phone in search of answers, though she quickly feels guilty for even contemplating invading his privacy. Later, Belle opens up to Dawn Fletcher and admits she nearly crossed a line by snooping through Cammy's belongings. She also confesses that she cannot shake the feeling he is concealing something important from her. Emmerdale is broadcast on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 or available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.